Hello and welcome to the lisahortoncrafts YouTube channel. My name's Claire Newcomb. I'm been on the design team since the beginning with Lisa. I make videos showing you lots of different techniques, lots of different ideas on how to use Lisa's products. Today I'm bringing to you the Christmas 2024 collection. This is just one of these sets from the festive release this year. It's the Snowflake stencils and die set. It's an all-in-one set. You can make an entire project with this. So you just need to add your cardstock and perhaps a layering die or two. But I think this is definitely going to be my go-to to batch make those high volume Christmas cards that we need to make to send out over the festive period. This is just one of the cards that I've made using this set. You can see it's so effective, so straightforward, but so easy to achieve. And if you were to swap different colours, you can change up the look, you can change the position of the snowflake, of the sentiments, and you have lots and lots of different looking cards, but really easy to produce. So it's an all-inclusive set. We can see on the front of the packaging here we have two stencils. So we have the two layering stencils. Just turn that over here. So we have stencil one, which gives you the background layer for the snowflake, and we have stencil number two, which gives you that beautiful intricate detail on the inside. We also have a mask. Now this is the cutout from stencil one, and it's such a useful little tool to have, and I'll be showing you how to use this also. We also get 7 dies with the set. So we have the large snowflake die, which obviously die cuts our entire snowflake out for us. It's a large die. You can see that fits beautifully around our stenciled image. We also have 6 dies. 3 of them actually die cut the words for you. So we have warm winter wishes, and each of those words have a corresponding layer behind those, so you can mat and layer those words to stand out from your project, as I've done here. Now I've die cut these words from Lisa's glitter cardstock, which is a really heavy weight, and it was able to cut them out beautifully. So as with all of Lisa's dies, high quality, and we know that they can cut out all the materials that Lisa has offered us in the past. So I've got a couple of projects for you today. I'm going to show you how to use everything from the kit, including the mask again, which is a really useful tool to have. I'm just going to pop up a slide to show you everything that I'm using today. I say it's really simple cards with these today, but they're so effective just using this snowflake kit. So the colours I'm using today are Tranquil Waters, Surf's Up and Deep Ocean, and I've paired that just for some tonal colour with the Sweet Violet, the purple from the Sweet Violet, which I think goes really, really well. You can choose any colours, any of the festive colours for Christmas. Obviously I'm using the cooler tones because it's a snowflake, but work with any colour and you can personalise these and change them all up a little bit also. As I say, I've created the card blank already, so I'm working onto a 5x7 card blank. I've added my glitter card as a matte and layer there, as you can see. And I'll be stenciling onto Lisa's textured cardstock, and I've cut this matte and layer from the largest stitch die from the nested scalloped and stitch rectangle set. I wanted to work onto a rectangle card today because the kit is actually a 6x6 inch kit. So obviously you can stencil and create this exactly same card on a 6x6 card blank. You can either centre the snowflake in the centre, or you can have them off to either side, but I think it's nice to show that you can actually be used on other shape cards as well. So the way that I've arranged this today, I've actually offset the snowflake on my card blank. So I'm using the peg system on my ulti-mate 2, and I'm just going to position the cardstock underneath so that my snowflake is just off-centered. Now, each time you do this, it is going to look different. Again, that's how you're going to be able to make each of your cards look different. Even if you're batch making them, you can use your different colours, position your snowflake in different ways, and no two cards will look the same. So I'm just positioning my cardstock under the stencil. You can see it's a little bit of an angle there. That's absolutely fine. You can use either your tacky mat underneath your stencil and your cardstock, and that will hold it in place, but also this silicone mat does a great job at holding it in the cardstock in place also. For added security, you could use your magnetic mat on your ulti-mate 2 and put the magnets on top. Alternatively, if you're using your ulti-mate 1, that has a magnetic base, so you can just add your magnets on top or tape it down, whichever you're happy to use. So to begin stenciling, I'm using the background die just to create a nice canvas for me to stencil the detail onto. So I'm going to be doing this with Tranquil waters, and I'm just going to add a really, really light base of blue. So I've picked up some Tranquil waters. I'm blending initially from the stencil material through to the cardstock. I don't want to add too much of a colour on at this stage. This is really just to take the whiteness off the background of the snowflake. So I'm picking up a small amount of ink each time, taking the majority of it off onto my stencil material before going in circular motions onto the cardstock. I'm really not putting down much ink at all. You'll see in a moment that when I take this away, that I have actually got a very light layer, even though it may not look like I'm putting a huge amount of ink down at this stage. I want to keep the whole feel of the card nice, light and airy. So we can see there that we have a lovely background for us to then add our detail onto. Now what I'm going to do here is just something a little bit different. I'm going to add quite a few colours just onto this one stencil. We don't have lots of layers on this particular set, but that doesn't mean that you can't add an awful lot of detail just through this one layer. So the way that I'm going to do that is using my smallest, well, a combination of smaller stencil brushes and larger blending brushes, and I'm going to use the rest of these colours that's sitting here. So I'm going to start off with a deep ocean, pick up quite a bit of that colour, and I'm going to start off in the centre of my snowflake. And I want to build up this colour to be quite dark. So I'm taking the majority off onto the stencil material first, and then just working in circular motions into the centre of that snowflake, like so. Now, obviously being a snowflake, we've got a lot of symmetry going on all four arms of the snowflake here. So it's up to you how, if you choose to use lots of different colours, how you separate up this design into the colours that you're using. So I've chosen to extend that dark blue just out into these areas of the snowflake here. And this is a great opportunity for you to have a bit of fun with your inks and your colours and a bit of blending, see what combinations you like. Alternatively, if you wanted to just stencil this really, really quickly, you could use a large blending brush, go over the whole design all at once, and you would still come out with an amazing result. So you can see there that I've blended my deep blue colour in that sort of configuration. I'm going to then move on to the surface up, so a slightly lighter blue. Again, I'm using a stencil brush. I think just for the sake of ease, I'm just going to wipe away that extra ink there that I don't need. And then I'm going to start blending this colour on these sections of the snowflake. Now these sections here closest to the dark blue, I'm going in with darker, and without picking up any more ink, and I'm just going to blend that colour out towards the edge of the snowflake so it lightens up a little bit, so we have an element of shading going on there. It's a really simple way of doing it on this sections where this surf's up colour is meeting the deep ocean. Just go over a couple of times so you get an almost seamless blend between the two colours, and you'll see that in a second when I take the stencil away. So I'm going to do that on all four arms of the snowflake. Obviously on this area of the snowflake we will be going off the page, so you just do the blending up until you reach the edge of the cardstock there. But I think it's really nice to have that off the edge look. Okay, so now I'm going to come in with the purple colour, the sweet violet. I'm going to pick up a bit of ink. I don't want to overwhelm, but I'm just going to look at the areas that I haven't coloured with any of the blue shades yet and just add my purple into that. What you can do also is just tip over some of the areas that already have blue and add the purple, just to create a different look and a different blend of colour. Again, it's really a lovely way just to play with the colours that you have. I think pink and turquoise would look fabulous with this. You can stick with your shades of blue. I think also you could do purples and pinks. I think you could easily get away with that even being a snowflake. Also, I think greys and whites would look great too. I think I might try and add a little bit of purple just up here, just to change things up a little bit. I think an interesting fact also, the reason why I think purple works so well with this and what made me think of it is that when I was looking at my blending brushes sitting in the storage that I have here, I keep my blending brushes in little pots like this, and I'm fortunate enough to have a set of brushes for each colour. But when I was looking at them, I was looking at my blending brushes. For this colour I hadn't used them for quite a while, and I've labelled them up as the Deep Ocean. But when I was looking at it, and if you can just see that while they were sitting there, the ink sort of dries in the bristles, and there's an element of purple in this Deep Ocean that sort of settled at the base of that blue colour. And this one, obviously I've only used lightly with the Deep Ocean, and that's definitely looks purple. So that's what sort of gave me the idea to perhaps blend the purple with the blue. I mean, we know that they're good colour matches anyway, but if you are a little bit unsure on how to blend or how to sort of pair colours up together, that just might be a way to get you started. Just look at your blending brushes and see what colours sort of have separated out. So I can bring that away now, and you can see that we have, just from one stencil, that we have a lovely image with lots of different dimension on there, because we've used different colours and blended different colours through that. Now what I will do now, just to add an extra dimension, just to highlight around the edge, I'm going to use the mask. Now, because we only have the 2 layering stencils in this set, I've used both of those now, so I don't need to worry about fixing the mask to the pegs here, so I can move this away. And it's very straightforward to layer the mask on top of what you've stenciled already. Now you can tape this in place, you can hold this in place, do whatever you are comfortable with. But what I'm going to do next, I'm going to use the Deep Ocean. I'm going to use my stencil brush. I'm going to pick up quite a lot of ink, and I'm going to blend initially on the stencil material, and I'm just going to tip off the edge onto the cardstock. So I'm going to create quite a dark border around the outside initially. So you can see what I'm doing there. I'm just using circular motions on the stencil material initially, and then working onto the cardstock until I see that I've created a nice dark border around the mask shape that I'm holding. Now it could be that you have masks from other stencil sets, and this will hopefully give you an idea on how to use them. Obviously not with this set. You want a mask that fits the image that you have stenciled or stamped particularly, but the technique of using a mask obviously can be transferred from what I'm doing here to other designs. So I'm just creating that barrier all the way around the outside here. Okay, so I pick up quite a lot of ink. I take the majority of it off on the stencil material, and then I use what's left on the stencil material just to intensify the colour onto the cardstock, and it's quite a quick process once you get going. And the stencil material, the mylar, is super smooth, so your stencil brush really glides lovely on it, so you are able to get a really nice circular motion action going, and that makes it really nice and smooth just to work all the way around. And you can see here that I've sort of created a nice dark halo around my snowflake. Now before I move the mask, I'm going to come in with my larger blending tool. Now this diffuses the colour further but less intensely, which is exactly what I want to do, and use up the rest of the ink that is sitting on my mask here. So I'm going circular motions again, and this will pick up all the ink that's on my mask, in effect cleaning it. And then, without picking up any more ink, and I'm going to blend onto my cardstock. And what that will do, that will just give me an extension of that border that I've created with my smaller stencil brush. And that's just going to extend out and just create a nice paler halo, and it's sort of quite an ombre effect. You can intensify this by picking up a little bit more ink if you want to. It depends on the effect that you're looking at. I mean, the outer reaches of this layer I do want to stay white, but also I do want to add just a little bit of colour. So hopefully you can see, oh yeah, you can see that there, there's the really soft blend, and that is really easy to achieve with these blending brushes, particularly the largest one, which I'm using here. So I think I'll leave that like so. So that's how to use the mask. And now when I take this away, you can see how that has really easily framed our stenciled snowflake just there. So what I'm going to do now, just to add a little bit of added detail and to show you a couple of different variations, I'm going to actually die cut this snowflake from this layer now. I've done it here. Don't know if you'll be able to see that, but you will see a die cut line around the outside. It just adds another feature. You don't have to do this. Again, if you're batch making, it might be just that little step too far. You might just want to just go through and stencil them all. But I want to try and give you just a few more ideas. So I'm just going to die cut this now. Okay, so I'm just going to move this away for a second. Okay, so I've die cut this from that layer, basically deconstructed that. But if you keep all of the pieces, even these small little ones that come away here, what we can do, we can bring it in our cardstock now. Now there's lots of different ways you can do this. So I've already pre-created or pre-made my matten layer with the glitter material, so I know that the layer that I've just stenciled onto fits perfectly on here. So I can just basically reconstruct that layer that I've die cut. Now it all will become apparent in a second as to why we've die cut this. So we can reconstruct this. Now if you want, as I say, you can just leave that like that and reconfigure that, and away you go. But if you're going to the trouble of die cutting it, there are different ways that you can play with this design. You could take the bottom away, so there you have a landscape type card with the glitter material here. You've got the shaped edge of the snowflake, and you could use that design and add your sentiments on that way, or you could add your sentiments onto this way, and that's a really nice way of doing that. You could also use this configuration and you could 3D your snowflake and then add your sentiments. Also, you could take these away, these sections away. You can just use your snowflake like so and 3D that and then add your sentiments. You see, there's lots of different ways. Just using this one technique and this one way to create your snowflake, there's lots of different combinations of cards that you could use. You could also reconfigure your layer back that it was the way that it was originally, and I think that I will do that. Okay, so we'll just layer that all and position that all in place, and then we can actually add our layers down. So I will actually reform my layers. And you can see the quality of Lisa's dies here, because we have this tiny little section just here which has stayed perfectly formed, but it's an essential part of the design if you are indeed going to reconstruct all of this back together. So I'm just using the snowflake element itself just to make sure that this small section lines up, as you can see there. So I'm happy with the way that that's placed. I'm going to add these on too. So hopefully now, even with just those 3 or 4 ideas that have come from this configuration, that this really will be a go-to set for all of your or for a lot of your batch making. I won't say all of them, because obviously we're going to have lots of other different designs, not to mention the other sets from Lisa's 2024 release, some of which I've already figured and shown in another video. And we'll just add our little corner there. Okay. Now again, we have other ideas that we can work from this. So this is all completely flat, and what you can do again is add your sentiments. You have your card. We could take this away. We have a snowflake design, and then you can use this aperture either to add your sentiments in, or you could add another image. Or another way, which might be really a nice alternative, is to actually reposition this snowflake, but 3D that with 3D foam, and then again add your sentiments underneath. So there's lots of different ways to use this particular design. So I'm just going to leave that in there and just mount that back in. Now, of course, this is just ideal also to embellish with any of the flat back gems that you may have sitting in your stash, particularly some of the beautiful ones that we've had in the past from Lisa. So I think what I'll do, I'll just add one tiny little gem into the centre there. It's the perfect colour combination. I use my gems very sparingly. I wait for special occasions to use them. I'm not quite sure what those special occasions always are, but this just seems perfect for this occasion here. So that's one way to use your stencils. Now, if you just wanted to create snowflake designs and you're more of a die cutter, then obviously we can use and make the most of the die cut of the snowflakes. So I'm just going to attach my words there so I don't lose them. So that's one card made, say in the same way that I've made this one here. Now I use a completely different intensity of colours, so it does look very different, and I've used a different sentiment there, different combination. So that's 2 cards which I'll be more than happy to send out over the Christmas period. So I'm just going to bring in my ulti-mate 2. Now the other way to do this is to actually create little designs that can either be used to put onto the front of a card, or you can create little Christmas decorations, or this could be a lovely little embellishment or a little invite. And I've actually stenciled onto Lisa's glitter cardstock. So what I've done is actually die cut the glitter cardstock first with the die. So I've done that here, and then we can stencil straight onto the glitter cardstock. And Lisa's glitter cardstock takes the Lisa's inks perfectly well. So I'm just going to layer my snowflake, my die cut, under the stencil. Now if you hold this up to the light, it's you'll see your die cut in silhouette on the back of the stencil, which makes it very easy to line up. And then you can come in and place that onto your ulti-mate like there. And then what you can do, just as I did before, we can just stencil through straight onto our glitter cardstock. So I'm using the blending brush just to add some ink down quickly. I shall do my colour blending again. You can go in with one colour all the way across. You can use 2 colours, 3 colours. It's entirely up to you. Spend as much or as little time as you want doing this. But say this glitter cardstock is just fantastic at taking the ink. So I'll add my colours there. And then I think I will come in with a little bit of the sweet violet also, just on the tips, and that will blend really, really perfectly. Now this would be a lovely project to do with the kids actually. It's so quick to do. You could spend some time just pre-cutting these snowflakes, you know, so you have lots of snowflake dies just sitting there, and then they can stencil to their heart's content, play with the colours, and just see what they can come up with. And I can see straight away, you can see the glitter coming through the stencil material, and it just looks just gorgeous. It's so easy, and it takes that colour perfectly. Look at that. Isn't that lovely? Now what I will also do, there's another, we can use the mask just to highlight around the outside. So if I just show you against the back, here we go. Just to highlight around the outside of the snowflake here, the way that I've done, let me hold up against the back, the way that I've done on this one here, there's actually a nice border around the outside, and you can use your mask for that. So again, we'll just place our mask on top of our die cut. It's very easy to line up, and what I will do, I'm just so I can keep tidy, I'm just going to put one of my messy mats to work on here so I can blend. So I'm just going to hold my mask over the areas that I have stenciled already, come in with my blending brush and your colour of choice, and I'm just going to blend some ink all the way around the outside. And what that does is creates a fabulous border. Really quick and simple to do. Again, you can tape this down in place if you find that easier, but just gently add ink all the way around the outside. Like so. And we take that mask away. And we have a really, oh, my inky fingers, we have a really subtle border and now around the outside, which really finishes off that look on that snowflake, I think. Now, I think this could actually be quite addictive. You'd really want to sit and do this, and the effect against that glitter is just stunning. So now we have the two. Now, being the snowflakes and the way that Lisa's designed this perfectly, they are symmetrical. So what we can do, we can back these against each other and we can make ourselves a double-sided ornament. Now, what also might be a really nice idea is to use this as an invitation for a Christmas party or something, wouldn't it? You could perhaps put invite or something on this side, or die cut the person's name, and then you can put all your invitation details on the back here. So I think that might be a nice idea. Or we can make this into a hanging ornament. So I've just created myself a ribbon loop here. I've just added some tape so I can attach this. So I'm just going to position the loop on one side of the arm. Right, I'm going to add the adhesive to the outside of the snowflake there. And then layer the second snowflake like so. So we have our double-sided ornament. And if you wanted to, you can add your words on either side. And I think this would be a really nice gift, actually. It'd be a really nice little thing for the kids to make, to give out to their friends. Or it'd be a nice little project for them if they've got a nice little, I don't know, maybe a school fair or something like that. Because Lisa's angel policy means that you can sell or make to sell. So that is a cute little ornament, I think. So something that the kids would really, really love to make and give to their friends. I mean, it's fun for us to make as well, of course, isn't it? But that really, really works, particularly on that glitter cardstock. Okay. So there's one more project that I just wanted to show you to do. I'm just going to clean my hands, just try and get some of that ink off a little bit. Oh. Okay, that looks better. So going back to the die cut again, or using the die, the snowflake die. Let's just wipe that away. So I'm going to use my messy mat. And actually, no, I'm not. I'm going to use my ulti-mate. Apologies. So going back to the die cuts again. Now we're going to go really elegant this time. So I've actually die cut some of Lisa's black glitter cardstock. Okay. And I am going to use the layered stencil. I'm just going to clean that off first. You'll see why in a second. And once I show you, then there is even a chance that you wouldn't necessarily need to clean off this stencil. And I'll say it all will become clear in a second. So I'm going to use the layering stencil, and the reason why I forgot I needed to use the ulti-mate is because I can keep that in place. So I'm just going to layer my black die cut underneath. Okay. Now, I don't need my inks this time round, but you would have noticed on the little slide that I put up at the beginning that I actually used some of Lisa's flash paste. So I'm going to bring in the crystal flash paste. I'm using the gold crystal, and we are going to go really elegant and extravagant for Christmas. So I wanted to keep this particular technique till last, and you'll see why in a second. So just look at that gold paste, it's lovely. It's got the consistency of butter, so you want to actually pick up quite a lot on your palette knife or whatever you're choosing. You want to hold this down, and you want to be quite liberal with how you spread this across your design. Now, I did clean my stencil, but imagine if you were doing this onto a white cardstock, or even a non-glittered black cardstock, and you was using one of Lisa's paler pastes or the whiter pastes. You could actually blend the ink that was on there before with the pearl paste, and it would colour the paste as it went through the stencil, and that would look amazing onto any cardstock. I think it really is a case of just playing. So get a really nice blend of paste going across there. I'll just take off the excess like that. Now you just wait until we lift this, and just look at that. How elegant is that for Christmas, eh? And I stenciled, that is actually stenciled and pasted onto a glitter cardstock. So you have the beauty of the glitter cardstock sitting behind that gold flash paste there. So elegant. And I think, imagine if you decorated a tree in all of that together. Actually, let's make sure my lid goes on properly there. We don't want that to dry out. Okay, so I've already done one which has dried. Again, the same premise as I've done before. We have two, so we can use these back to back. This time I've cut myself a loop of gold ribbon, so this is completely elegant, completely decadent. Ooh. So this one's dry. I think the hardest thing about creating these projects actually will be waiting for the paste to dry to put these together. So I'm going to do my very best now to make sure I don't smudge one of them. Okay, so we can layer those two together like so. It's a lovely way to use your pastes. It's a lovely way to use your black cardstock. So that's going to be oh, there we are. I knew I'd do that. But anyway, you see what I mean. I just wanted to get that whole image for you together. You would obviously be patient and wait for all of your layers to dry first before you construct them. Now I've got myself a little gold gem that can sit in the middle, so you can either go to town and put lots of gold gems on, or you can be quite frugal, as I usually am, and just put the one in the center like so. And there we are. We have a lovely elegant looking snowflake with our gem in the center, double-sided, and that would look lovely to catch the light on any Christmas tree, don't you think? Okay, so hopefully you can see now what I mean when I say that this could be your one-stop shop for creating everything for Christmas this year. If you could only really manage one thing and you wasn't quite sure what to choose from Lisa's range, or it might be your first venture into Lisa's stencils and dies, then there is so much that you can do with this. You'd be able to create lots of sets. I mean, we've got this one here. I think this actually might be my favourite. It's so delicate and so pretty. And you can also create the cards. These could also be gift tags. They'd look lovely, wouldn't they? Yeah, basically have a play. There's lots and lots of different things you can do with this. It really is actually a fabulous kit to use. So hopefully that's given you a few ideas. I shall go now. I need to go and clean up my stencils and my knife. Easily done. I just need to run them under warm water. So thanks so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed that. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, because that way you'll actually be notified each time we load up a new video onto YouTube for you to catch up on. So thanks so much for joining me, and I shall see you again next time.